From the Middle is a proud founding member of the Odd Pods Media Network.
Oh, for the love. Sorry, just clearing my Mountain Dew hole.
I got my phone hole cleaned today.
That's where you keep it?
You're so cerebral and you're so developed and evolved. From the Middle after dark over here.
Hey, everybody, and welcome to episode number 101 of From the Middle. We are three middle-class guys living in the middle of America, in the middle chapters of our lives with a point of view that usually falls somewhere in the middle. If none of that means anything to you, we are a comedy, culture, entertainment, interview, and lifestyle podcast. Three guys just hanging out, talking about life, catching up with one another, twisting our proverbial mustaches, if you know what I mean, and doing how we do. So, yeah, that's an intro for you. What's up, guys?
People were wondering if the curly mustache,
That's impressive.
matches the curtains.
It actually does. Hey, I just got to say, we had episode 100 drop last week, and we got a bunch of really cool messages from our listeners. We got texts, we got voicemails, we got emails, a lot of comments on social media. And just a big heartfelt thanks for all of you that have even listened for 10 minutes and took the time to respond and just wish us well and wish us congratulations. So, yeah, now we're at 101. Crazy.
Yeah, that's why I wore the Dalmatian shirt.
I was gonna say, like, what are all the 101 references that
It's the only one I've got. Okay. Well, there's like all of the 101 joke books, I think, right? Remember those? Did anybody else have a bunch of 101 joke books?
Yep. Yeah. Just to make you feel like you're getting just a real deal.
One of those was free.
Why did college
them and like, that was the free one?
Why do entry-level college courses, why are they 101? Why aren't they just 1 or A?
Or 100? That's a good question, Kory.
Anyway, maybe we'll bring back fact checks, and I'll tell you next week.
Call in, send us an email. This is your chance to get your voice heard.
Dylan, say hello. You haven't said anything yet.
Well, hi everybody. You guys had such a riveting thing going so far. I didn't want to interrupt on why our class is called 101. Do you think that the phrase like 101, like as an introduction, what is it, like a chicken and the egg thing? Like somebody just threw out like I don't know, this is a 101 level at some point, and then colleges went, yeah, that's good. Let's start at the hundreds. And then we'll go by the hundreds for each. I don't know. Is it a chicken and the egg thing where somebody else said it and then colleges stole it? Do you think it started from like classroom numbering systems, like room 101, and that was like the basic? We're going to have to find out later.
Keep vamping. I'm going to Google.
But even still, I would think that 100, like, why did they skip 100?
Is this
what's wrong with 100?
There's no floor 13 in hotels.
I don't know, man.
I don't know either. This is why we need to partner up with like a true crime show that can investigate all this stuff for us. I know that's not what they do at all, but since it's not our show, we can just make up what we think they do.
Yeah.
And have them look up stuff for us. Or Kory can just start fact checking.
This is 100 episodes in, and we start our 101st, and this is we're trying to figure this out. If anybody ever thought that this show was scripted,
I was just thinking
my question to you is, why would we why would we have held a meeting and said, let's have this conversation?
You know what might be riveting?
What?
If we break down why things are called 101. That was never a pre-meeting for any podcast episode ever. But here we are. And these are the kind of things that are important. But it also is this like the thing that people always do where they reminisce before the internet? Like, they have that conversation and somebody looks up somebody on IMDb and then they're like, man, what did we do before the internet?
Mhm.
Like, because I never would have remembered what movie Carrie Fisher was in that wasn't Star Wars.
Right.
And so, like, is that the thing that we're doing now? Like, and now we have the ability to just Google it. And
But
people
even
are
when
still-
you can, you don't remember. Like, I tell people all the time about an episode of Mythbusters where they tried to tackle something that we've all wondered. And then we never remember if the Mythbusters told us it was confirmed, denied, or plausible. We don't remember what the actual outcome was. We just know they covered it. Yet it's such a hot topic, hard hitting issue, urban legend, but we don't remember Mikey and the Pop Rocks. Did he die from eating Pop Rocks and soda? Anyway, the first recorded use of an introductory class being designated as 101 was in a University of Buffalo course catalog dated 1929.
1929. Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
Yeah, I remember. It
I
wasn't
remember.
until the early 1930s that universities in the United States started using a 3-digit system to identify their courses. The method wasn't quite uniform, but it was more logical than the non-system of naming courses that had previously been in place. This doesn't really tell me anything, but that's why.
Yeah, I do remember it was 1929.
Mhm.
Yeah.
There we
Good
go.
times.
Now we know. Knowing is half the battle.
G.I. Joe.
What else is going on with you guys?
My boy was on America's Funniest Videos.
What?
Why didn't we lead with that?
I don't know. I don't know.
That was
Um,
way more interesting than the
on-
101 thing.
Yeah, no joke. So
What?
this was yeah, like on the show. It was a fun moment for our family, I tell you what. So we like to watch America's Funniest Videos with the kids. They all get a huge crack out of it. And they're at that fun age now where they want so badly to understand the joke, and so they'll just laugh at anything. If there's people laughing, they'll laugh. And it's cute to watch. And they were doing this thing called the whipped cream challenge, which, if you're not familiar, is like you put some whipped cream in the palm of your hand, and then you hit either your forearm or hit the front of your hand, and whipped cream pops out of your hand up in the air, and then you try to catch it in your mouth. And so they sent out the mission to videotape yourselves or your family members trying the whipped cream challenge, and if something funny happens, send it to us. And immediately after seeing that, Isaac was like, "Mama, we have to do this. We have to do this." And so she put it in his hand and started videotaping him. And he came down and basically clapped and smushed the whipped cream, and whipped cream went every place. And that was it for the video. And then he was like, oh, we have to send that in. So we sent it in. This was a little while ago. And then we heard back eventually from a producer that was just like, hey, we might want to use your video. If we do, there's these forms that you need to fill out. So we filled out the forms, sent them back in. And then a little while later got another email from a producer that was like, hey, we're going to show you his video. This is the date, and you're going to check your local listings to find out when exactly you can see it. So it was the episode that aired so not this past Sunday, not Mother's Day, but the Sunday before that. It is season 31, episode 19. And they do a montage of people failing at the whipped cream challenge. And Isaac is the cute little blonde-haired kid who's the second video in that little montage. And they sent him a t-shirt and everything, man. It was and we didn't tell him either. We did not tell him that his video he kept asking us. And we would every week since then, when we would watch America's Funniest Videos, he would be like, oh, I wonder if my video is going to be on. And we'd always tell him, dude, they get a lot of videos. Most of them don't get on. And then even when we found out that it was going to happen, we found out about a week before that it was going to be on, and we decided to keep it secret. And her parents, Amy's parents, were over, and we all sat down to watch AFV together, and we made sure that Isaac was sitting down and paying attention. And then he saw his video and he freaked out. His sister freaked out. It was a fun moment.
First of all, I'm in my 30s, so I was not familiar. So thank you for explaining the whipped cream challenge.
You're welcome.
Second, how many did they include in that montage that he had to like sit and watch of all these whipped cream challenge videos?
The montage, I don't know, was probably like, I don't know, 8 or 9
In a row.
videos
Okay.
in a row. But his was the second one. And as soon as we saw that, like the room erupted with screams and laughter. And so we didn't pay attention to the rest of them. But
Yeah.
That's awesome.
yeah, it was so great. So great. And then he got his t-shirt like a week later and he wore it to school and was telling everybody about it.
The best show and tell ever. Man, I remember as a kid of the 90s, there was no YouTube or like, clips, fail army. None of that existed.
Yeah.
The epitome of funny video, fame would be that you send in a family video of something you did and it makes it on America's Funniest Home Videos. Like
Bob Saget takes a look at it, gives it a thumbs up or down.
That's right. Even better if you're one of the final, 3 or whatever it is. So there were a handful that growing up, mom always talked about, I should send that in. I should send that in, and never did. So you have now achieved what for years was like the pinnacle of, family comedy in our house growing up.
What can I say?
That's awesome, man.
Yeah. So
That's great.
that's my big news.
That's way cool.
Yeah.
Well,
How about y'all?
last week my wife almost cut her thumb off.
Oh, I'm sorry. No chuckles.
So I'm working in the yard and Sherry has cut all of our hair for years. We've saved a ton of money in haircuts. And now, it's especially easy for me. But even when I had hair, she would cut my hair. She did a great fade and styled the top. It was awesome. So she cuts our kids' hair and she's cutting Case hair. And Case has got a big old curly head of hair. And all I hear is, Kory, come here, Kory. And I run over to the back patio where she was cutting his hair outside. And she's like, I can't stop the bleeding. I can't stop the bleeding. She was using the thinning shears and cut off the skin on the top of her knuckle on her, is it ring finger? No, middle finger. And you guys know I'm pretty queasy, but we've always talked about like, how would you respond in an emergency situation? And when it's your family and a loved one, you feel like you can stomach it a little better than if it were just you were watching it on a video or something.
And you take pictures of it and send it to your podcast co-hosts.
Yeah. So I run and grab a bunch of gauze and tape and Band-Aids and we get it covered. And she's like, I didn't really get a good look at it that first time. I just ran and got the stuff. So then once she had all the gauze on it and everything for a while, she's like, I need you to take a look and tell me what you think we need to do. I think it's pretty deep. I don't know that I'm going to be able to stop the bleeding. So she takes all that off and I saw like white. So I don't know if this was like bone of the knuckle or what, but then she showed me the chunk. Sorry. The chunk that was on the table, that's the first picture I sent you guys.
Mm-hmm.
It's like multiple layers of skin from her top knuckle. You could see the little creases of the folds. So then
it's like, when you're like cutting cheese for a party and there's that whole big end heel piece that's like, it's too thin and oddly shaped to like put out on the platter, but it's huge. It's like you still want to eat that piece of cheese. It was sort of that size from the photo. It wasn't like a little nubbin, like somebody's like, oh, is that a little? It was very clearly like a big piece of heel cheese is size.
So did you take it with you or did you eat it?
Well, so So I'm like, well, we got to for sure go to urgent care or the emergency room. Urgent care is literally right across the intersection. So I'm like, we'll start there. Actually, I thought we should go to emergency room first, but she's like, it's fine. We'll just go to urgent care. So anyway, I take her across the street to urgent care. She has to go in by herself. I'm not allowed to go in with her because of COVID. There's a frozen custard place right next door. So she's in there. She's in there texting me updates of what's going on with her digit. And I'm like, got a strawberry sundae with tons of sprinkles. Hope you're doing okay.
I just imagine you sitting there on your phone and you go, oh no. And the person at the ice cream place is like, sir, is something wrong? You're like, yeah, I dripped on my shirt. Oh, it's your wife. Is it urgent care? Okay, continue.
So they have to put this like, it looks like a ring. It's like a mini tourniquet closer to her hand to get the bleeding to stop. And they finally get the bleeding to stop and they can, so then she sends me a picture of the open wound. You could see tendons and ligaments in there. I sent it. That's the next one I sent. What? But I had the courtesy of sending this one with the, what do they call that? The
magic
invisible ink.
The
like
invisible
filter.
So you wouldn't have to see it if you didn't want to. You really, so I had the courtesy of, you can do that on an Apple phone. I don't know if Android has anything like that. Probably not, but I sent it with invisible ink so that you could like scrub it away and see. Super gross, 4 stitches. She's okay. They're actually worried that she did tendon damage and that she might not be able to bend. Like if she makes a fist, she might not be able to get that finger to bend all the way back. So she's getting her stitches removed and we'll see. But yeah, that was kind of crazy.
Yeah.
Sunday was delicious.
That's her favorite finger too.
I mean, what else?
You didn't have to drive around with it all bandaged up. And when she's like taking the kids to school, like on the steering wheel, it's like this.
I was just waving because you let me through.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wonderful. I mean, at least what did you get on the ice cream other than sprinkles?
Yeah, it was a strawberry sundae. I said you can't have too many sprinkles because I, like your wife, love me some rainbow sprinkles.
Yep.
Little whip, little maraschino cherry on there. Good to go. So, yeah, pretty crazy.
Hope all as well.
Yeah.
I read a thing. I enjoy stupid criminal stories. This just made me think of it. There is a lady her tires were slashed. She had found on her car, and she had called the police, and they were able to follow a trace of blood to where the perpetrator was staying, and they were able to cross-reference some identifying features because he left his finger that he cut off behind. And the lady who found her tire slashed found the finger and gave it to the cops and was like, will this help? And they matched the finger to the guy, and he got caught. So
wow.
Yeah.
That was really,
so could have been worse.
I was really on edge through that because I didn't know if that was a real story or a pun.
I know.
And I was like waiting through the whole thing because that's
real
like,
story.
That's your
real
MO
story.
at this point. And then I'm wondering the cop, like looking at this woman who's just asked, will this help? And like trying to keep a straight face. You mean,
I don't know if that's what she had said.
You mean a finger of someone who committed a crime with blood. You're asking at the scene, like evidence. What you're asking me is if evidence and a finger and blood of a person at the scene of a crime will help.
Well, but then they were able to follow what was part of the story is they were able to follow the trail of blood to this guy. And then I imagine in my head what that interaction looks like. Excuse me, sir. Can you take your hands out from behind your back?
Show us your hands. Hands where I can see them, and we got them.
Yeah.
Yeah. This is one of the grosser episodes we've ever done, I think.
This is.
Hey, let me.
I don't know why we waited till 101 to do this.
I know.
but
Let me pivot to that was last week. Let me pivot to my packed weekend. I think there's a few things we could pick at.
Yeah.
So you guys remember, I think last year or the year before, with my buddy Greg from episode 5, we had gone to a Harley dealer where they bring these demo trucks where they bring every new model of Harley that you can ride. We did that. It was great. And then at the end of last week, he's like, hey man, I just found out there's another one and it's at the dealership right next to your house. It's just a couple miles down the road. So I sort of rejiggered my Friday. I canceled my weekly one-on-one with my boss. I said, hey man, I just need a mental health day. He's like, are you okay? I'm like, yeah, totally. Just going to go ride some Harleys. So we got to do that. Much to our surprise, what they didn't have in the year prior was the all-electric Harley Livewire, the ones used in the documentary that we've talked about on the podcast before, The Long Way Up, with Ewan McGregor and Charlie Borman. So not only did they have all of the new 2021 Harleys, from Sportsters all the way up to the Cruisers, but they had the Livewire, which goes from 0 to 60 in 2.5 seconds.
Yo.
No clutch, no gas, no noise,
Just
all
go.
throttle, all torque. I mean, I don't know if you can imagine the sensation of like a golf cart. You just push and it goes as fast or as slow as you want based on how hard you push. That, but on a motorcycle that costs $30,000 and goes 0 to 60 in 2.5 seconds. Unbelievable. One of the coolest experiences ever. And then, we got to ride the others as well. But man, after riding that electric Harley, you kind of don't want to ride the ones that have to have a clutch and rumblies and loud noises and take gas. I guess, because I don't know, I'm just kind of like new to the motorcycle game. A lot of the Harley diehards are kind of hating on the Livewire because it's Harley's kind of known for the sound and the rumble and the aesthetic, and this breaks a lot of that, breaks the mold of a lot of those iconic Harley things. But man, it was incredible. And so you're only supposed to ride it once, as a part of like visiting the demo truck, but they were they didn't have not a lot of people were taking advantage of the demo truck that we got to ride it 3 times in the day. So for 5 hours, Greg and I just took bikes around this little self-guided. It was self-guided. The year prior, they have a driver in front and a driver in back. Everybody in the middle has to stay in line. This was self-guided, so you could just do the loop. There's signs on where to turn, and yeah, pretty awesome. Highly recommended.
Do you think the all electric Harley will fall into this? It's the sort of combination of newer generations getting into that kind of thing, like any generation would have had the new fans of Harley or the new fans of cars. But do you think there's just enough people that also appreciate the green aspects that it won't matter? And I don't mean in 100 years from now. I mean like in the next 2 to 5 years. Like, do you think there's going to be enough people? Tesla has done that. Like, you don't even have to think they're the best built cars ever. But there's enough people that are like, they look awesome and I love what they're trying to do. So Tesla has this like cult following because of it. Do you think it'll be the same with Harleys in the immediate future?
I think if the numbers invert just a little bit. So right now they cost around $30,000 and the range is only 100 miles. If those numbers get a little closer together, like I could see that happening. But right now it's almost just like, because it's the first production version of the Livewire. The ones in the documentary at that time were prototypes. But yeah, I think if the range goes up a little more and the price point comes down a little bit as they, develop the technology, I could absolutely see that being the case.
I feel like we're one slight battery technology breakthrough away from all of these cars drastically dropping in price. I mean, the articles seem to lend themselves towards, and I'm not a car like person at all. I read articles here and there and that claim to be experts, and I don't really know, frankly. But like I'm reading stuff that's like, hey, we're about at the tipping point where buying a new electric vehicle is going to be cheaper than a gas vehicle.
Yeah.
Like it basically around now, but we're not
See,
there yet on motorcycle.
that's why we're from the middle, man, because
Right.
like we're not the diehard car or motorcycle guy, and we're more in the know than folks who don't pay any attention at all to those sort of things. So that's why this is perfect conversation.
Well,
But
and then
yeah,
you've got our 80-plus-year-old grandfather who just bought the brand new all electric Mustang and
yeah,
is running it up to 80, 90 miles an hour in quick sprints to test it out and is having a blast.
yeah.
So but I understand what you're saying. So if the price were to drop to 20 or 25 and the mileage doubled, if you
Yeah.
got 200, do you think that's like everyone's going, okay, this is
Yeah, I think even the people who are critical of it, and I got to watch other people ride it for the first time, and the way that the people running the demo truck described it were like, it's all throttle and a bucket of smiles, man. And like when I just stood where people come back, the finish line, if you will, of the loop, I just stood and watched people's faces getting off of it, and it was just like, as much as I want to hate on this, that was pretty incredible. I mean, it's so bizarre, that speed and that torque. And then you come up to an intersection and you just hear birds and somebody mowing in the distance. There's no noise. It's just unbelievable. The the loop. So you leave the dealership and then there's this long swervy country road that goes into the middle of a field. There are no businesses or homes on either side of this road. It eventually will lead you to a neighborhood, but it's just out in the middle of nowhere. So, everybody's testing Harleys for this entire weekend, and this is the loop. So, what are people going to do on that long stretch of nice long curves? They're going to open it up. So Greg and I think this was the first or second time we were on the live wire, and you just punch it. When I see a sheriff's deputy sitting in a field kind of covered by some bushes, and I was just like, oh, we're busted, because I think it was like it's 35 or 45 through there, and we were going a little faster than that. So we both see him. I'm leading at this point, and I just like kind of do a wave like kind of crouch and just kind of wave, and he wasn't pulling anybody over. He had to know that we were demoing bikes and we're going to open it up on that stretch of highway. But yeah, it was pretty incredible. I got it up to 3 digits. Don't tell Sherry. So it was pretty fun.
It's
Yeah.
funny.
So
I was just gonna say, it reminded me. We've briefly touched on. I used to work for Bose, the audio company, and people would want to see huge tower speakers and elaborate component systems, and they would almost want to interact with Bose more to just try to poke holes in it. And specifically, I remember being with Bose when they released the Bose TV. So Bose for a short period built a TV with 16 speakers inside of it called the Video Wave. And I just remember what it was. It felt very similar to the skeptic come in like, this, it's just a TV. How good can it sound? And then you just you just absolutely crush them with some epic movie clip on that thing. And people just going, okay, that was pretty cool. I didn't come in here to like this thing. I came in here because I wanted an excuse to not like it. And it kind of reminds me of that. It just it was a fun time of like, look, people can like what they like, but at least give it a chance, because It sounds like you had an awesome time, and obviously Harleys are known for the sound. I'm not even a motorcycle guy, and I know that. But it's cool that people were giving it a chance, even if they did it just to try to poo-poo it. If they had a good time on it, that's what matters.
Yeah, and some hosts from some local radio stations came out and gave it a shot, and we're doing documentaries of them riding it and stuff. But yeah, it's pretty intense, pretty sweet. If you're on the YouTube, I'm sharing some images of it.
Yeah. I would totally like that. If I were a motorcycle guy, that's the route I would go for sure. Or at least I'd be holding out for another generation to come in behind it, probably. But I've said for a while, like I want a Tesla. Like I plan on owning a Tesla someday, or at least something like it. The thing for me with Tesla isn't just the electric car thing. It's all kinds of other things that they're reimagining everything car, and the interior, the technology, and also the application of it. Like the way the front air vents work is cooler than most cars. And so it's just like a front of tech kind of situation that intrigues me.
Yeah, and I think
I've got a lot of buddies too who are intimidated by clutch. Like if you didn't grow up with 3-wheelers or 4-wheelers or like dirt bikes or anything, like the idea of having to worry about clutch and shift is intimidating. So they're like, man, if there was like an automatic motorcycle, well, you got one button.
Yeah, and I think the Tesla thing is like at some point you're buying into what Tesla sees as the future, because you'll typically, when somebody has the Tesla conversation, the person that doesn't like it'll be like, well, yeah, but have you seen, the Consumer Reports on this part of it has fallen off in the back of certain interior, whatever. And it's like it's not a flawless car. It's not the point. Like you're trying to make arguments against, like, it is not the most well-built, perfect car. Like you're buying into the future and a whole idea of what cars can be, not 60 years from now, like right now. Like they're trying to change the industry right now.
Yeah.
And I think they've done it. Like I'm not in the car industry, but I think enough other auto manufacturers have felt the pressure from what Tesla's doing that we're seeing a lot more electric options much more quickly than we would have if Tesla had never existed in that market. And so I love that about it. Like Elon Musk is crazy, whatever, but they're doing some cool stuff at Tesla. And I hope they keep pushing everybody forward. I think it's great.
So live wire aside, if you have your motorcycle endorsement and want to take advantage, there's probably a demo truck visiting a motorcycle dealer near you. Doesn't have to be Harley. I know other manufacturers do it. Take advantage. It's not high pressure sales. They know you're just coming to try, the different bikes and enjoy. And spring, summertime here in the Midwest, like every dealership has a weekend where they are doing a demo truck. So take advantage, see what you like. It's really fun. Try some new bikes. I would recommend it. So then that night, we had a double date with some friends of ours. It's been a while since we've had like a sit down double date, and had a 3.5-hour dinner at one of our favorite restaurants, J. Alexander's. And that was an absolute blast. It was good hanging out with friends. The next day, Case had a soccer game. It's his fourth of 6 games. Then we had a birthday party. My dad, Dylan and I's dad, had his 60th birthday party, which was a ton of fun, an outside shindig at their house. We came back. Lily had to babysit. I went to bed at 7 p.m.
Wow.
I was so exhausted from, the previous day's festivities and the long party out in the sun that I went to bed at 7 and had 12 hours of sleep. I haven't done that in a long time. That was spectacular. And then the next day was Mother's Day. It was a miserable day weather-wise for Mother's Day. But it's Sherry's favorite weather, cold and wet. So we turned on the fireplace, had some snacks, and watched some of her favorite movies. She introduced the kids to Groundhog Day with Bill Murray. And she wanted to try Ferris Bueller's Day Off. We forgot how much language was in that film. and and some others. But yeah, it was a really good day celebrating my wife, who is an incredible mom. So yeah, action-packed weekend. What'd y'all do for the weekend? How'd you celebrate your wives?
Go ahead,
I
Dylan.
think we should pause for a brief moment, give everyone a chance to catch their breath for some more updates, and everyone can hear from one of our friends at the Odd Pods Media Network.
Good call.
I'm Midnight Agent Raw.
And I'm Okami.
We are the Super Media Bros podcast.
And each week we give a comedic take on all forms of entertainment such as
Movies,
music,
video games,
television,
and much more. So put your shades on and listen to us on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you listen to your podcasts. Shades on.
we're off.
And we're back. So
Good.
I dominated the first half. I would love to hear from you guys, how your weekends were. If you did anything for Mother's Day, ask you when the last time you went to bed at 7 p.m. was, any of the above.
Yeah, it was really nice. We had dinner at the in-laws on Friday, and we had a nice dinner. That was kind of an early Mother's Day. And then Saturday, we obviously same party. You and I are brothers, so we went to our father's birthday outdoors, which was a lot of fun. Sunday, a third day of socializing in a row, which was so much socializing with the last year. And we drove up to Amish country in Ohio, in this case, in particular, Berlin, Ohio. Our mother has a retail shop, Kelly's Boutique. If you're up in Amish country, go check it out. But everything's closed on Sunday, so don't go on a Sunday. But because it was Mother's Day, it worked out great. And my wife and daughter and I went to visit, and we got some fantastic pizza at Park Street Pizza in Sugar Creek, which was really good. And just kind of hung out at their place. I helped them with their Roku because they were using it for like 3 channels on Spectrum only and didn't realize how many apps were on there. So we spent a good hour or two signing into Disney and Amazon and downloading Pluto and Crackle and all kinds of different apps.
And I just tell you, Mom sent me a picture of Finley. This is Dylan's daughter, if you're not familiar, trying on some clothes and hats from her boutique.
Yeah.
And in the background, you and Tim are looking up.
Mm-hmm.
And just from the body language, I'm like, he's fixing some technology.
Yeah, I played a little tech support. It was one of those things where, like, if you have any kind of streaming box, you just gotta, you're so excited to use it, but you've just got to take a little bit of time to get it set up, and then it's much more enjoyable. So they had a bunch of apps on there that they didn't know what they were, or that they didn't need and needed deleted. They needed some downloaded. All of them needed signed into. So it was just a combination of, like, literally they got Spectrum cable and they had the Spectrum app on Roku, and it gave them like 4 channels. So that's what they thought this Roku was good for. And so then I'm like, okay, here's the Pluto TV app. That's a name that you're going to forget, but don't forget it, because there's a ton of stuff you can watch on Pluto TV and it's free. Here's Netflix. Here's Disney Plus. Here's what's on Disney Plus. Here's go to Prime. Now here's what's on Prime. So it was just one of those conversations. So it was a little bit of tech support, but it was fun. And shout out to Park Street Pizza. I was trying to figure out how to describe it, because obviously we love to talk about food. And it's very short and sweet. They pitched it to us as everything's like local, all the meat and like everything's organic and super good, but still very reasonably priced. It was like, imagine what you remember Pizza Hut being like as a kid at its best.
Oh, when we used to be good.
Now make a really gourmet version of the best you remember Pizza Hut being. And so it's like the perfect pan crust, and it almost had like a very slight like cheese kind of crustied up on the edge a little in a good way, and a little thicker, and the toppings piled on, and it was just super good. So if anybody's up in that area, check out Park Street Pizza in Sugar Creek. It was great. But we had an awesome time, and my daughter was running around the boutique, which was closed, and they were, quote, shopping, and she was organizing, and just having a great time. At one point, we kind of lost track of her for a little bit. I was mostly not paying attention because my mom said she couldn't break anything. So I was like, fine, have a ball. So I lost track of her for a little bit. So I had to go find her. And she had picked a dress off the rack and was stripped down to her diaper in the changing room trying on a dress. And she's 3. So like she was having a ball.
Awesome.
So yeah, it was a good time, but we like, it took it out of us, man. I don't remember the last time we socialized that much in 3 days, and I didn't go to sleep at 7:00, but like we got some sleep, and it was, so did our kid after some of those days. So it was good.
Well, mom said she had good taste because she picked out one of the most expensive dresses in the store. So
Could only have gone that way. So here we are. But yeah, man, it was a good time, and I'm looking forward to more of that as things normalize a little bit out in the world. So it was good.
what about you, K-Dog?
So on Saturday morning, I wanted to make sure that my wife had an opportunity to do only things that she wanted to do. And so on Saturday, she got up early, and she went to the shop to get tires put on the car. And I did offer to do that for her. But she wanted to, because we get our tires at Costco. And that gave her an opportunity to just kind of like wander around Costco by herself for an hour, which was fun. She kept sending me text messages of like, do we need this? No? Okay. Need this? No? Okay. Hey, I'm sitting on a couch. Check me out. All right.
Do we need this Sony 85-inch LED or these Bose noise canceling headphones? Do we need either of those? They're on sale.
Yeah. So yeah, but so she did that and shopped around, went to Old Navy afterward, blah blah, all kinds of stuff. Meanwhile, I took the kids out, and last Wednesday marked the end of my 2-week period of waiting after my second vaccine, so I'm now considered fully vaccinated. And I spent the morning with the kids out shopping for her, and we went to several places over the course of Friday and Saturday. And I tell you what, like, that was really the first time that I've spent much time at all in a store, in a retail establishment of any kind, since the beginning of COVID. And it was like, I was tired after that, like just walking around a couple of stores. I was like, goodness, this is what healthy people don't feel when they're just shopping around stores. But anyway, so that was fun and exciting. Yeah. And then our daughter, like, she's 4, and she is just like her mama. Like, Amy loves to throw parties, and birthday parties are a big deal in our house. And she's decorating. She'll buy like secondhand decorations from other moms and things to theme a birthday party. And she does this for everyone every year. And Lydia, all on her own, decided she wanted to make Mother's Day a huge deal. And so like Lydia, like, she made like 8 Mother's Day flags they're like giant pieces of paper with cardboard glued onto them. And Lydia made all these flags. She made decorations. She put them all in a box and hid them in her room. And then on Sunday morning, I'm not around on Sunday mornings. I leave the house at about 5:30 in the morning. But Lydia got up, and before anyone else did, and decorated the house, had flags going down the stairs. And so Amy would run into these flags on her way downstairs, and like made up this. Yeah. Oh my goodness. So that was good. And then, so, I mean, we did church, and then got home, and Lydia was planning a Mother's Day party for after I got home. And so I had to hide out upstairs with my wife in our room until Lydia told us it was okay to come down. And the reality there is they were just decorating the cards that we bought for her. And, no, it was fun. So we did that. Amy wanted to go out then with Lydia later that day. So she did, and I took the boys out, and Lydia and her went grocery shopping, and they came back with giant tomahawk ribeye steaks.
Nice.
That's what was for dinner.
Nice.
It was a good day.
But I'm with you. There's a theme here. This reintegrating thing is tiresome. And it's not just the walking around. Yeah, it's not even the walking around stores alone. It's like the socializing and running to and fro. Like, yeah, I was back to back the whole weekend, and it was all good stuff. You know, it was like with one of my buddies riding motorcycles with some of our dear friends on a double date until very late. I mean, all good things, but you're just like, man, I'm out of practice.
I built up a little stamina for this again.
Yeah.
I'm not even driving to the office and spending time in the car anymore. I still got to build up some stamina.
That's great. Happy belated Mother's Day to all the moms, to our wives. Really appreciate all that you do and the way that you influence all of us and have made us all better and tolerated us. And it's awesome. Glad we got to celebrate you.
What else is going on, fellas? Have you guys encountered? So here's the thing: the chip shortage that everyone's talking about now. And what I did not realize about, I had heard some stuff about cell phones and obviously computers, and then I started seeing some news about cars, and I guess there's like a Ford lot somewhere that's like filled up with F-150s that they can't sell because they're incomplete without this chip. And it's not any one chip in particular. It's like a backlog of components to like make these chips. And it's just that industry is just seeing such a massive backlog that they can't handle it. And it's getting to a point now where like I'm trying to put like a new guitar pedal board situation together and a couple new pedals that I'm looking to get for this, and like can't buy them because of the chip shortage. Like it's hitting the guitar effect world. I can't imagine how many industries. I was reading an article that was mentioning like toothbrushes and all kinds of things. So I don't know, has this hit you guys, like the chip shortage yet? Or that was my first experience, was the guitar pedals.
I'd not even heard about it. Last I heard, we had a coin shortage. It was a national crisis, but now we're out of
debt. Yeah.
Yeah. Now we're out of chips.
We're out of chips.
Yeah, from what I can tell, and it kind of started with general electronics categories being slower to like a little harder to get. And some of it was like video graphics cards for computers. And like when people started working from home, we talked a little bit about this, anything kind of hobby themed, and there's separate issues. So like some of it was because of trade stuff. Again, this is going to be very much the from the middle version, because like I'm not an economic expert, but like from what I've read, there's a combination of things. It started out with general things being out of stock because of trade stuff between different countries, but now like specifically the chip thing, because almost everything is part of what they call like IoT or Internet of Things, because all of that means anything that's like Bluetooth, Wi-Fi, smart enabled has a chip in it somewhere that's used to help make it operate. And so the articles I'm reading, like everyone's going to be affected by this, and probably throughout 2021 as they go to buy something, because even if people do have them in stock, they're going to be like, why is this thing that I'm used to buying for X amount of dollars like 50% more expensive than it normally is? Because anything that's got chips will be out of stock or will be more expensive. And that's basically all electronics. So yeah, even if it's like guitar stuff or audio video stuff, people trying to get PlayStations and Nintendo Switch and electronics for Christmas, like I think this will be super widespread by the end of the year. It'll be really hard to get some of this stuff. So
interesting.
I saw an article out of a news agency in San Francisco that interviewed an adult toy shop guy, and this has even hit the adult toy world apparently. So
Yeah,
it's everywhere, man.
you heard it here first. Check out the adult toy industry for news, because it's happening everywhere, I think is what Kendall said.
Right.
Yeah. Well, seriously though, I would think if there's any gifts you want to give people for Christmas this year, don't wait until Black Friday and Christmas to buy a PlayStation,
Or
because you think or because you think there's going to be a deal. If you need to buy anyone gifts that are electronics the rest of the year, you just do it.
do it now. And I tell you what, so like I started looking at the used market for the guitar pedals effects that I was looking for, and they originally retail at 160, and to buy them used, most of what I was seeing was right around 140, 150.
Yeah.
Like it was ridiculous.
It's going to be wild, man. And which begs the question, how many things actually need to be connected to the internet? Like you can buy toasters and appliances, and it affects everything. Cars, if you want Apple Play in your car, it's the Apple car, all those features. Or if you want your Samsung fridge and toaster connected to Alexa, and you can tell Alexa to turn on your home theater and toast your bread, like all of it's connected. It begs the question how much actually needs to be connected to the internet. But yeah, it'll be interesting. So best of luck with your guitar accessories and buying secondhand.
I already have them, by the way. I eventually found them.
Oh, good.
So it's all taken care of. Because I bought early, like our man Dylan over there was telling us to.
Yeah,
when I saw there was a problem, I was like, all right, I'm doing this now. Eventually I bought used ones. That's what I did.
I've just been thinking of puns this whole time.
I know. I see you over there. I'm ready.
We ain't got no chips. It's a good deal, though. Deal, though? Because the adult. Okay. So anyway,
I'm sorry. That took me a second.
Because you didn't have the chip. Our second ever explicit rating. Sorry, everyone. Sorry, not sorry. Yeah, I had no idea. Chip shortage. Crazy.
Whole thing.
It's a whole thing.
Somebody ate a bird. What does Creed say on that episode of The Office? Somebody killed a bird. That's what he says. Somebody could have eaten a bird. Some birds do get eaten.
Oh.
Somebody killed a bird. Somebody decapitated a bird. I don't remember what.
We buried a bird. We buried a bird.
Somebody buried a bird. This isn't Kendall's bird, by the way. His bird is perfectly fine. This is a different bird.
I don't have a bird. No, I had a bird and it's no longer perfectly fine.
Well, I meant the new bird that we talked about recently.
Oh, right. Yeah. We don't have that one yet.
Yeah.
Decapitated. Whole big thing. We had a funeral for a bird.
There it is. Thanks, Creed.
Anyway, well, stick a fork in this bird. I think we're done.
Oh, there you go.
This is really fun.
I've got bird stories.
Oh yeah, is there an update on the bird fostering?
Nah, not really. But
Okay.
I was reminded of another funny news thing that I came across. But
Okay.
we'll save that for 102. Got to have something to talk about next week. Got to throw something on the people to say, hey, we're going to tug on your ear a little bit and make you come back and listen to us in a week. We know you're not commuting anymore. Yeah. And so now you have to sit on your couch and choose us over TV. And in order to do that, I'll share my bird story next week.
Maybe we can start with how they outline a syllabus next time. And that'll be a riveting.
How to outline a syllabus.
That'll be a riveting discussion for the beginning of 102.
Hard-hitting issues. Start with the hard-hitting issues. Wrap up with chip shortages.
And put
That's how to do it.
Yeah,
we figured it out, folks. Somewhere. We know who we are now. Well, this has been a ton of fun. Thank you for tuning in, and we're sorry. We would just like to encourage you, if you're interested in any men's grooming products, to go to artiusman.com. That's ARTIUSMAN.com. Fill your cart full of men's grooming goodies, candles, beard oils, beard balms, salves, lotions, what have you. Use promo code. They might not have salves. Use promo code the middle at checkout to receive a great discount. It helps them out. It helps us out. It'll help you out. It's a trifecta of win-win-win-win-winness. Happy 60th birthday, Dad. We love you. Happy Mother's Day, everyone. Yeah, have a great rest of your week, and we'll catch you next time on From a Tomato.
I've got to come up with the bird story now.